Hey there, welcome to Unraveled and Awake. Today we're talking about something that touches every single one of us, death. But more than that, we're talking about what death reveals about life, that the end is not the end. Now imagine, it's dinner time, the table is set, the food is warm, but something's missing. There's an empty chair that used to hold someone you loved. Maybe it was a parent, a spouse, a child, or a friend. Sometimes their laughter still echoes throughout the room. You feel it, that silence, that ache, that question. Why did they die? Why did they leave me? Will I ever see them again? If you've ever sat in that silence, you know grief isn't a weakness. It's love that has nowhere to go. And in that, there is strength. But underneath that grief, there's often sadness, a quiet kind of sorrow. Not fear exactly, but the ache of something precious having slipped through your fingers. The Buddha spoke to this. He didn't try to erase sadness. He simply asked us to turn toward it gently, to hold it like we would a crying child, with presence, not with judgment. He once said, "When we experience pain, it's like being struck by an arrow. But when we resist it, deny it, or blame ourselves, that's the second arrow. The first arrow is life. The second arrow is optional." Sadness is natural. It doesn't need fixing. It just needs space. What I've come to understand through spiritual practice is this: death is not a mistake, not a punishment, and not something to fear. Death is a natural part of life, part of how impermanence weaves through everything we know. It reminds us that we are not our bodies, not our thoughts, and not even our sense of self. Those are conditions that arise and pass. But clinging is not the same as love. Love doesn't bind us, it frees us. So when someone we love dies, it hurts, not because we're doing something wrong, but because love is real. The pain is a reflection of that connection, but the essence of who they are doesn't vanish. It transforms. Their presence may no longer be visible, but it still can be felt, sometimes in a memory, sometimes in a moment of stillness, or the quiet knowing that love doesn't end where form does. Let me ask you something. What are you really afraid of? Is it the pain, the silence, being forgotten, or maybe just not knowing what comes next? Whatever it is, name it, speak it, or write it down. Fear thrives in silence, but the truth lives in the light. And here's the deeper question. If death is inevitable, how do you want to live? Let that question guide your choices today. And when fear or sadness arises, and it will, here are a few practices that can help. Return to your breath. Inhale slowly. Exhale gently. You see, fear pulls us into the future. Your breath brings you back to now. Name it. This is fear. This is sadness. Not I am afraid. Not I am broken. You see, that small shift creates a space to respond with compassion instead of panic. a space to breathe, to soften, to stay. Visualize letting go. Imagine holding fear like a bird in your hands. Then open your palms. Let it fly. You're not trying to eliminate fear or sadness. You're learning to sit beside them with clarity and grace. Finally, remind yourself, everything changes, nothing lasts forever, and somehow you can be okay with that. Let death remind you to live, to laugh more, to say what you need to say, to stop running and just be here. Because the end isn't the end. It's just a beginning in disguise. I want to thank you for joining me today. If this moved you, share it, forward it to someone who's grieving, healing, or just thinking deeply these days. We need these conversations. Meet me here the next time. Until then, remember, you are just unraveling and awakening, but never alone.